Welcome to week 2 of Beginners Yoga with Lidl moves for 20 by 20. My name is Sharon O'Connor and I'm really excited to take you through this 20-minute practice. So to begin with, you're all familiar with your props at this stage from week 1. You have your stack of books at the ready, which is my block, your cushions and your blanket. And so to begin with, we're going to take a comfortable seat. So whatever that looks like for you, it could be cross-legged or sitting up on your shins. I'm going to use my cushion to make me even more comfortable as we kick off our practice. So starting to settle into the space. Gently closing your eyes. Palms facing up or down on your knees or on your thighs. Just starting to notice your breath. As we begin our practice, thinking back to the last day or week and focusing on one thing you're proud of. It can be as little or as large as you want it to be. It could be finally getting to that item on the to-do list, finally getting that job done. It could be finally sending that text to that person you've been meaning to get in touch with. It could be making it to your mat today. But just pausing with your eyes gently closed, noticing your breath in that feeling of achievement. Bringing that energy with us into our practice today. That feeling of positivity, acknowledgement, achievement, pride, and power. Gently blinking your eyes open. On your next inhale, bringing your shoulders right up to your ears. And then as you exhale, lowering those shoulder blades all the way down. You're trying to really encourage your shoulder blades towards your sit bones. So really conscious shoulder rolls here. We're just giving ourselves a nice massage to start our practice. Your core is engaged here just to support your spine, to support a strong foundation. And now pausing and gently lowering your chin to your chest. And just ensuring when you do so that your upper back does not round. It's really just a stretch for your neck. Gently bringing your gaze back forward and looking over your right shoulder. Similarly, no other part of your body is moving here, just your neck. Coming back through center and over your left shoulder. Coming back to center. Now nice and slowly and gently making your way onto your back, ensuring that your cushions or pillows are within arm's reach. Maybe supporting yourself so that you can feel each vertebrae lowering onto your mat. When you get to your mat, doing our windshield wiper movement from side to side. The soles of your feet on the outer edge of the mat, your fingertips on your hip points, and just starting to sway from side to side, removing any props that might be getting in your way. Pausing and hugging your knees into your chest. Option to bring your shoulder blades off of the mat and give yourself a nice tight squeeze, or maybe you keep your shoulder blades on the mat and give yourself a nice hug. Gently lowering both feet back to the mat and grabbing your cushions, placing them to the right beside your right hip. And now hugging those knees into your chest again, and then lowering both knees over towards the right so that your legs find your pillows into our supine twist. Adjusting the height of your pillows here, you're really encouraging your left shoulder blade to remain on the mat. You really want to glue those shoulder blades to the earth. So maybe you need to add a pillow, maybe you need to remove one or remove two. Gently placing your right hand on your top knee just to encourage a little bit more depth in this twist. Lengthening your left hand out and looking over that left thumb. Softening your gaze as you look at your thumb and breathing into this twist. Gently coming back through center, maybe giving your knees a little bit of a sway from side to side, lowering both soles of your feet back to the mat and placing your cushions on the other side this time, beside your left hip. Hugging both knees into your chest again and gently lowering both as one so that they find your left cushions. Placing your left palm this time on your top knee, maybe adjusting the height again. Lengthening that right arm and looking over your right thumb. Gentle gaze. Breathing into this stretch. And at any point in your supine twist, feel free to adjust the height of your cushions, encouraging your shoulder blades towards the earth. Gently coming back through center. Maybe give your knees a little sway from side to side again before you lower the soles of your feet down. Now slowly and mindfully just making your way onto all fours. Removing any props that are on your mat except for your blanket. We're going to place our blanket across the center of our mats just as a nice support for our knees like we did during week 1. Wrists are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Nice strong foundation here. On an inhale, arching your spine and looking up. On an exhale, rounding and tucking your chin. Inhaling to arch into cow. Exhaling to round and tuck your chin, coming into cat pose. Just continuing this with your own breath. Really encouraging as many vertebrae as possible to be part of this movement. Making it as slow as possible. And now pausing and coming to a flat back, which is a neutral spine. So neither of the movements we were just in. Lengthening your right foot out, coming onto the ball of that foot and just gently rocking forward and backwards. Just saying hello to your hamstring here. Now with your core engaged, we're just gently going to raise that foot off of the mat. So you're going to keep the foot flexed. If you can get to hip height with the foot, great. If not, whatever height off of the mat is perfect. On your next inhale, you're just going to lengthen the foot. So we're just going to flex our ankle here. And as you exhale, you're going to flex. So inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to flex. Just once or twice more. Ensuring you haven't fallen into your shoulders. A little bit of engagement here in your core to support your back. Then coming to stillness and gently lowering that knee back down beside your left one and taking a sway from side to side. The two sides might feel a little bit different now. Coming to stillness and gently lengthening that left foot out, coming onto the ball of your left foot. Just that gentle rock forward and backwards again. And then pausing and raising that foot up. And it doesn't matter how high you can bring it off of the mat. If you can come to hip height, that's great. If it's just hovering a few inches above, that's perfect. Whatever you're most comfortable with in your body. Your core is engaged here and you haven't fallen into those shoulders. If you need to bend the elbows slightly, that's perfect. But you haven't fallen in. You're still raising yourself up, nice and strong. On your next inhale, you're just going to lengthen that ankle, that foot, and then exhale to flex. Just continuing this movement and matching the movement to your breath, not the other way around. Gently lowering that knee back to the mat And just taking a nice little sway from side to side. Now coming into our first child's pose. So toes touching, knees as wide as the mat, and gently lowering those sit bones towards your heels. We're just encouraging our sit bones towards our heels here. So maybe taking a little bit of a wiggle from side to side just to encourage them down. Then walking those hands forward and gently lowering your forehead towards the mat. So as you inhale, you're lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, you're encouraging those sit bones closer to your heels. Just taking a few breaths here. On your next inhale, you're just going to tuck those toes and come back into our first downward facing dog. So just having a nice bend in the knees, maybe pedaling the feet out here, introducing the movement to your body. Coming to stillness here, maybe still with a little bend in the knees, and just taking 2 breaths in our downward facing dog. Then looking forward and taking a slow, gentle stroll to the top of your mat. When you get to the top of your mat, you're in Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows here and taking a little sway from side to side. Feeling this in your side body here, just awakening some of those muscles. Coming to stillness here. Now, as slowly as possible, we're going to roll on up to standing. So option again to track your pace, placing the palms of your hands on the outer edges of your legs. So very slowly rolling on up. Imagining every one of your vertebrae involved in this motion. And then last thing to come up is your head with one gentle roll of the shoulders back. Coming to the center of your mat. You can stand on your blankets if you wish to do so. We're just going to align our breath with our movement here and come into a very gentle standing twist. So as you inhale, you're going to raise your arms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to turn towards the right and lower both arms down. Inhaling back through center. Exhaling towards the left and lowering. Keeping your hip points pointing forward. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the right. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the left. So the last time now. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the right. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the left. Coming back to center and gently lowering both of your arms down. We're going to come into a nice flow now, building on what we did in week 1. So in week 1, we had our low lunge, we had our twist. So we're going to do that again, and we're also going to build in the movement we just did. So coming to the top of your mat, leaving your blanket where it is so it can support our knees. Looking down at those feet, we want a nice strong foundation, aiming to have our feet at hip distance. Inhaling those arms out and up, looking up. Exhaling out and down, Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice bend in the knees so you can get those palms down. On an inhale, placing your right foot back and lowering the knee down to the mat. On your next inhale, coming into that low lunge twist, sweeping that left arm all the way up and looking up. And it doesn't matter how far up you get. Your arm could be here, could be here. Just engage all of your fingertips in this movement and look at those fingers. Glancing down at that knee to make sure it hasn't swayed inwards or outwards. And then gently lowering your left palm down to the mat, bringing your left knee to meet your right, and now you're in your tabletop. On an inhale, just coming into your cow pose, arching your back and looking up. Exhaling to round into cat. Coming back to a flat back. Now walking your hands backwards, we're going to come up onto our shins like this. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, there is an option to sit back onto your heels. If you're going to sit back onto your heels, bring your knees and your feet together and sit back down like this. And again, remembering that you have your cushions to help you in any of the positions we're in. So I'm going to demonstrate here, up on my shins. If you are on your knees like this, just making sure you're encouraging the tops of your feet down for stability, for support, so that the pressure isn't all on your knees here. We're going to inhale our arms out and up. We're going to exhale to lower them to the right. We're going to inhale our arms up again. We're going to exhale to lower them to the left. One more time. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the right. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the left. Lovely twisting. Inhaling back to center, gently lowering both of your palms down so you're back in tabletop, coming into Balasana, child's pose, toes touching, knees as wide as the mat, walking those hands forward. We're going to take 3 nice breaths here in our Balasana, lowering your forehead down to the mat. As you inhale, elongating that spine. As you exhale, encouraging those sit bones towards your heels. On your next inhale, tucking those toes and coming back into our downward facing dog. Knees as bent as you want them to be, maybe giving a little bit of a pedal out to the feet again before coming to stillness and just taking 1 breath in our downward facing dog. Looking at those hands and taking that stroll back up to the top of our mat, arriving here in Uttanasana, forward fold. Option to track your pace as we roll on up to standing nice and slowly. Head is the last thing to come up. And when you come up, just inhaling your arms out and up, looking up and exhaling your prayer to heart center. Maybe taking a breath here, maybe pausing me, checking in with your body before we do the other side. Inhaling those arms out and up. Exhaling out and down, Uttanasana, forward fold, bending the knees, planting the palms. Inhaling your left foot back, lowering that knee, untucking those toes. Inhaling your right hand all the way up as far as is comfortable. Engagement all the way to those fingertips. Glancing down at that front knee, just ensuring it hasn't wavered inwards or outwards. Looking up. Gently lowering the palm all the way back down. Right knee meets your left in a tabletop position. Inhaling to arch your back and cow. Exhaling to round your spine and tuck your chin. Coming back to our flat back. Walking those palms back and coming up onto your knees, encouraging the tops of your feet down to support you in this pose. Option to sit back, and if you do sit back, bringing both of your knees and your legs together. Inhaling your arms out and up. Exhaling out and down to the left. Inhaling back through center, exhaling out and down to the right. Inhaling through center, exhaling out and down to the left. Core engaged here. Inhaling and exhaling down to the right. Inhaling back to center. And exhaling back down into your tabletop. Toes touching, coming back into our lovely child's pose. Inhaling to elongate your spine, exhaling to encourage your sit bones towards your heels. Nice, deep, nourishing breaths here. Then gently tucking those toes, coming back into your downward facing dog, led by your hips. We're really aiming to get our hips high and our heels low in our downward facing dog. Keeping your knees bent if that's more comfortable. And it can also facilitate our hips getting a little bit higher. One breath here. Gently lowering those knees back down to the mat. Removing your blanket. and gently coming to lie on your mat. Again, lowering yourself down one vertebrae at a time. When you reach your mat, placing the soles as wide as your mat and starting that lovely windshield wiper movement from side to side. You can choose how rainy it is. If it's very rainy, you can go a little bit quicker, but I always recommend a light mist pace here. Hugging those knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice squeeze, maybe raising your shoulder blades off of the mat and gently lowering them back down. Placing one sole at a time back onto the mat and starting to come into your Savasana. Lengthening your legs out, allowing your feet to fall out to either side. Placing your palms facing upwards towards the sky beside your body and gently closing your eyes. With every inhale here, nourishing your body, checking in, seeing where you can feel your practice today. And with every exhale, allowing yourself to melt into the mat. Be supported by the earth. Starting to notice your breath and deepen your breath. Introducing some movement into your fingertips and your toes. In your own time and nice and slowly, making your way over onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow and taking a breath here. Gently keeping your eyes closed, just coming up to a comfortable seated position. Palms facing upwards or downwards on your knees or on your thighs. Starting our practice and ending our practice on the same energetic note. An appreciation for ourselves, an acknowledgement of our achievements, and gratitude that you made time for yourself today to come to your mat. Namaste.